Pash Tetzaveh, we learn about all the big day Kohen Gadol, all the clothes that the Kohenim wore, the regular Kohenim, the Kohen Gadol. One of the clothing that the Kohen Gadol wore, one of the articles of clothing was the Me'il. It was a long type of robe, machlekes exactly, there's a discussion in the Rishonim exactly how it looked. But what is not under discussion is what it says in the Torah, that at the end of this Me'il, at the end of this robe, there were bells and pomegranates, bells and pomegranates. And then the pasuk continues and says that these bells, when the Kohen Gadol walked, would make noise. Ding, 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 they would make noise when he would go in and when he would come out. So obviously the Torah is teaching us a lesson here. It's not just to teach us that there's noise. Of course, when the bells are ringing, there's a reason for these bells to ring. Says the Ramban that even a human king, a human president, a human prime minister, nobody can just walk into his office whenever he wants. He has to announce, he has to ask for permission to come in, like we know from Megillas Esther, when Esther told Mordechai, I can't just walk, even the queen, I can't just walk into Achashverosh if he didn't call me. So too says the Ramban, Kaviyochel, when the Kohen Gadol walks in to serve Hashem, he must announce his entry and must announce his exit before he comes in and as he's leaving. Rabbeinu Bachya brings the words of the Ramban, and he gives a little bit of more deeper explanation about what's going on over here. Says Rabbeinu Bachya, we know that around HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we know from the words of the Nevi'im, from the words of the Ksuvim, and from Torah Sheba'al Peh, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is never alone. Kaviyochel, HaKadosh Baruch Hu always has myriads and myriads of legions of malachim that surround him and that serve him. Malachei Hashares. Malachei Hashares means those that serve him, the serving angels. We don't know what that means, but we know that around they're saying Shira, they're doing all sorts of sheirus, of Malachei Hashares, of all sorts of sheirus for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. All of a sudden, this human being of flesh and blood comes and says, I'm going to serve Hashem now. He comes into this place where angels are standing. That's a very, very scary place to stand. Says HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when the Kohen Gadol comes in, ring your bells. Ring your bells. And when you ring the bells, I'm going to tell the angels, please clear the space. I want this Kohen Gadol, I want this person to come now and serve me. And the bells serve as a call for the angels to clear the areas that the Kohen Gadol can go in. When he leaves, Kaviyochel, he leaves and he rings the bells again, the bells ring, now the angels can come back. Unbelievable thing. Rabbeinu Bachya continues and says there's one time a year when the Kohen Gadol is on such a high level on Yom Kippur, and he goes to the Kodesh HaKadoshim, and then he takes off the big day Kohen Gadol, and he wears only the white clothing, the purest and the highest level, white and pure and simple clothing, and he goes into HaKadosh Baruch Hu even without ringing the bells. On that day, he can go in even without announcing, even without telling the angels to leave. He can be there with the angels, with the malachim. He's on the same level, and he can serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu on that level. Obviously, these words are beyond our comprehension and very, very, very deep and lofty ideas, but what we see from here, an unbelievable insight that we can take from these words of the Rabbeinu Bachya. The angels are always around the HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but when the person comes to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and it doesn't have to be the Kohen Gadol on Yom Kippur, it doesn't have to be even the Kohen Gadol on a regular day, it can be any Jew, the rank and file, when he comes to serve Hashem by doing his mitzvahs and learning his Torah, and he comes to Hashem, he's even higher than the angels. HaKadosh Baruch Hu Kaviyochel tells the angels to clear away. Now I want the person to come. Now comes the tachlis of the Bria, the tachlis of creation was not so that there should be angels that are high and holy and beautiful angels. Even a person of flesh and blood, with all of his deficiencies as a human being, when he comes to serve Hashem, that's what Hashem really wants. That's our job, and that's what Hashem created the world for. Good Shabbos.